Hey, so I had a request on how to get more flexible for the splits, and a lot of people have difficulty with this. So let's start with some exercises that actually work into the nerves, and the nerves are so important because there's tight and short muscles. Short muscles are those muscles that you sit here and you stretch, and after 2 minutes or so you really start to open up and lengthen. Tight muscles, you sit here and stretch and you stay here for years and years on end. So when you have a tight muscle, then you need to do myofascial release to let your body know you're safe and nerve flossing. So let's start off with a nerve floss. You're going to lie down. You're going to keep one leg bent on the ground. The other leg is off the ground. You're going to pull the knee in towards the chest and keep it down. From there, you're going to lie your chest down. You're going to straighten the leg as much as possible with a point. When you feel a little bit of tension, you flex and release. Point, flex, and release. Point, flex, and release. Not too fast, not too slow, around 10. This is making sure the nerve is gliding appropriately. And then you can keep it on tension by just flexing and flexing. Flexing and flexing. Doing both sides. So that's the first thing I suggest you do. The other thing is we've got also the front body that has nerve requirements as well. So because you've got a nerve running down here, you're going to go into your lunge, okay? And you're going to not be too deep. You're not going to have an arch. You're going to pull the pelvis bone forward. And from there, you're going to round and pull the rib cage back and your head down. You're going to really feel already tension. Then you're going to move forward, lengthen the head, move back, tuck the head, move forward, lengthen the head, move back. Very small movement, but a lot of tension. And I'm keeping that rounded movement. And then keep it on tension by keeping the head in a forward motion with the rounded back. Doing 10 on each side. This is going to release out into the hip flexor area and the nerve that runs through this area. So you've got 2 nerve releases I would suggest to do to start. Okay, now, what would we do from there? I would suggest some myofascial release. So to do that, you place a peanut underneath your leg, and from here you find a spot and you lift up and down. You can also sit on a chair and bend and straighten. You can also twist slightly, and that's going to intensify it. Then you're going to move to another spot. Again, pressure up and down, up and down, and you move to another spot. And you're going to do that 5 times the pressure point, okay? And if you're sitting on a chair, this sofa's too soft for me, you're sitting with the weight underneath, and then you're lifting the leg up and down. And you can also add in the point and flex down. So you can do it from low if you have a lot of flexibility. This adds a little bit of extra tension. So I can still do the flex and point. And you've really got to push down because you have to work the compression here. So preferably starting up on a firm seated area. That's going to release off the hamstrings. Then you're going to bring your calf on there and you're going to roll forward, point, flex back. Roll forward, flex back. Roll forward, flex back. So we've released all the back of the leg. Now we have to release the psoas and the hip flexor and the quadricep. So to release the psoas, you can place a yoga block underneath. You're going to put this in just in here onto between the hip bone and the belly button, and you'll feel a nice divot in here. And it won't be nice as in comfortable. You come down into your cobra if you want higher, but you have to keep the pressure onto this ball, or you can keep in Sphinx and you'll lift the leg up and down for 10 repetitions, and then you will go to the other side. This will release the psoas. Then to release the hip flexor, we're going to place the ball in here, and from that movement you're going to roll around slightly to the side. You're going to feel a nice tension. You're going to lift the leg up and down, up and down. You always do both sides, and you can move around and lift the leg up and down, and then from there you're going to bend and rotate the leg internal rotation. And then you can do external rotation. When you do external rotation, you need to make sure your bottom doesn't go up. You really need to push it down and activate it, and it's a lot smaller movement. So that's your releasing of the hip flexor. Then you roll down to that quadricep and you flex and you point. And just like the hamstring on the back, we do 5 reps at one spot, and then we do 5 reps at another spot. And that is going to release into your front of your leg. Now, if you're working on straddle a little bit extra, I'm morely focused on the hamstrings, you place this peanut in 3 areas, and you can use a block if you need height. One is just right near the groin, and you're going to be here, and I would probably prefer a block, and you press in, and you can straighten and release, straighten and release. A block adds a little bit more height, because if you have a gap in between here, it's going to be hard to feel any pressure. Then you're going to place it here in the middle, and you're going to straighten and release. You can also lift and down, and then you go towards the knee. This one can be quite sensitive. Straighten and release, and lift and up and down. You play with what feels good, around 5 reps. So once you've done all of those releases, that's when we start the stretching. So if you are wanting to get into splits and develop your splits, start with a nerve flossing, go to the myofascial release, and now we can do a couple of stretches to get you into a little bit more range of motion. So we want to do active stretches. So the first stretch is for the hip flexor. You're going to bring your leg forward. From here, you're going to squeeze your leg down, rotate your hip forward, bring your hands to the ground. Now, if your hands are like this and you're like, I can't touch the ground, you're either not warm, which is also me, or you are just working on your flexibility. So therefore blocks come into play. And you'll put these blocks here. You can have them on any height to hold here. You're going to lift up and back. The rounding is only as much as comfortable. From here, you're going to then put your head back. You're going to pull your foot towards your head. Hold, release, squeeze. As you squeeze, you push down and you pull your heel at your front back. That will bring you a little bit deeper. You can see it's easier for me to touch the ground. Now I hold this position, squeeze and release, and then push down and go a little deeper. My hands walk back. And a little bit deeper, 5 times. Now, if you don't have any curves or flexibility, you'll be here, holding the blocks, squeeze as hard as possible, release, sink down a little bit, maybe do a little bit of an arch, squeeze, release, sink down. So you are going to still get a lot of flexibility no matter what range you're at, okay? And then from there, I'll just change legs, even though we do them on both sides just to keep my legs a little bit even. You're going to then squeeze front, hip back, back hip forward. You're going to keep as low as possible to the ground, hands on your knees, pull your ribs in, and you're going to flex and point. And I'm not moving up, I'm staying low. Flex and release. So you're pushing your heel back and releasing. Pushing your heel back and releasing, doing 5 reps. Then untuck your toe, push down, squeeze your glutes, keep your hips even, pull your ribs back, extend on the top of your foot and release for 5 reps. This is going to also get into that hip flexor by strength. Once you've done those on both sides, you're then going to grab a strap or your hand and pull this foot in towards the outside as long as there's no knee pain, and hold. Then you're going to pulse back, round, pulse forward, sink. Pulse back, round, pulse forward and sink. So this is going to really release off that lower area. Finally, coming into a hamstring stretch, your back foot's going to go on something if you have nerve tension to raise the heel. Sorry, your front foot, and your back foot is going to be on the tiptoes. You're going to lean over the front foot till you're on the ball of the foot. And you're gonna have your hands here on blocks. From here, you're gonna inhale and exhale and lengthen down. Inhale, exhale, lengthen down. Inhale, exhale, lengthen down. That is going to help you to build that flexibility into your hamstrings and give you a fantastic range of motion through strength. Then you can start to work on all your other stretches that you may do for your splits. See how it goes, see how the myofascial release and also the nerve flossing opens you up. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.